Something pulling me saying, kill yourself. Working with traumatized kids, as fulfilling as that work is, can kill you. How do I know? Because it almost killed me. So if you're a teacher, if you are an administrator who works with traumatized kids, if you're a counselor, a social worker, a pastor, or someone who works with traumatized people, then I need you to watch this video. I want to share with you 15 self-care strategies that saved my life and radically improved the quality of my life. And I believe these strategies can really help you. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. Manuel Scott. I just earned my PhD, and I grew up in a really rough situation in an environment where there was a lot of poverty and abuse and dysfunction and instability, in neighborhoods where there was a lot of violence and gang activity and drugs and senseless murder. And I lived in 26 places before I was 16. My best friend was murdered on his way to see me. I was a high school dropout who, with the help of others and very hard work, returned to school, picked up my grades, went to college, went to graduate school, and I just got my PhD. I'm happily married now, and I'm a father of 3 amazing children. And for the last 20 years, I've been working with students primarily in the United States, and many of those kids have been traumatized. Many of those kids have experienced some of the most horrendous things you can imagine. If you're here and you work with students like that, then I want to share with you 15 self-care strategies that really helped me and in many cases saved my life. Years ago, I was speaking at a conference, and at the end of the conference, it was the last speaking engagement of the year for me. I'd been on the road 300 days that year. At the end of the event, after I'd shaken all the hands and hugged all the people, and I'd been on the road 300 days that year, my wife and I went up to our hotel room. And as soon as the door closed, my wife went in and sat down, and I stopped by the mirror, the big mirror on the wall, on the way into the room. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I had tears rolling down my face. My eyes were bloodshot red, and my hands were shaking like this. It was really strange. My wife says, "Sweetheart, are you okay?" She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Sweetie, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know." I was at the edge of having a nervous breakdown. And it was scary because I consider myself a strong person, and yet I did not have control of my body, my hands, and I was crying. It was really, really strange. I had been pushing too hard. I worked so hard to be strong for everybody else, for the students that I work with, for the adults. But as soon as I reached the end of the year, I guess I was able to let my guard down a little bit, and my body responded to all of the stress that I had been holding in. For years, after I've been working with kids, they'll form a line, sometimes 5 hours of me just talking with kids one-on-one. And they share some of the most horrible things with me, stories of molestation and of rape, and there's some terrible things that have happened to children in our nation. And I got to a place in my life where I started getting pulled into a dark place because I saw the darkness of the human heart. I saw how evil people can become and how bad things are in many families, and all of the trauma that the kids were sharing with me was reminding me of my own trauma. And so when you have a history of trauma, interactions with other traumatized people can heighten your risk of all kinds of things: stress, secondary trauma, compassion fatigue, which all lead to burnout. And I'd gotten to a place where I did not want to get out of bed. I'd lay in the bed and I would just be crying because my soul was aching. And all of the weight that the kids had shared with me, the pain had affected me so much. And I never brought those things home. I never talked about those things. I compartmentalized my work, compartmentalized the pain, kept it all to myself. But I realized that I was in trouble. I started getting pulled into such a dark place that I would sometimes feel, it's almost like you could hear, kill yourself. Something pulling me, saying death would be a relief from the pain that you're carrying with you. There was a darkness that was telling me to just end it all. I was in a bad place. And because of all of the stuff I've been sharing with you, I realized I needed to make some significant changes in my life. And so if you're in a dark place right now, if you're discouraged right now, if you feel like your work doesn't matter anymore, that you don't matter anymore, that death would be a relief from the life that you're now living, if you feel like there's no reason to keep going, please keep watching. I want to share with you 15 self-care strategies that can really help you. One of the most important things you can do for self-care is to set some boundaries. So I've learned the hard way. People will allow you to hurt yourself or even kill yourself as long as it benefits them. I've seen it happen to me. People have seen me. There was an event I was speaking. I was so tired, my eyes began to cross when I was shaking hands with people. And people would walk up to me and say, "Oh, we know you're tired, but can you sign these 7 books and take this picture with me? Oh, the picture, I didn't look good in my picture. Can I take another one? We know you're tired, Mr. Scott, but my picture didn't come out right. Can I take another one?" And I'm literally like, I'm staggering a little bit, and people kept trying to take from me, take. It was so bad that I said to myself, "Manny, if you fall on this table to your right so you can break the fall. If you pass out, fall that way so you don't hit your head on the concrete." People were seeing me suffer and still taking from me. It was like I was no longer a person. I became the embodiment of something to them, and they couldn't see my humanity. And I get it. Some people were so inspired by me. I get it. For some people, I'm the embodiment of hope. I get it. But I'm a person, and I have limitations, and I get tired too, and I give my best. I learned I've got to set some boundaries. I have to tell people no, because people will take as long as it benefits them. They'll let you hurt yourself. People will let you hurt yourself, even die, as long as it benefits them. So you need to decide to set some boundaries for yourself, for your own well-being. Sometimes you have to say no to the less important things in order to say yes to yourself and your own well-being. You have the right to say no. And sure, you're going to disappoint some people. You're going to make some people mad. But if they don't understand that you need to take care of your own well-being, then maybe you don't need them to understand. And maybe they're the reason you need the boundary. So set boundaries for yourself. Another self-care strategy that really made a difference in my life is self-compassion. Self-compassion is just you giving yourself compassion for being imperfect, for having flaws, for having limitations, for making mistakes. Self-compassion is just giving yourself grace to be imperfect. If you're watching this video, I just believe that you're the kind of person who does your best. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. Sometimes it doesn't produce the results that you wanted. It doesn't make the difference you intended for your work to make. Give yourself some grace and say, "I did my best." One of the most effective self-care strategies you can implement in your own life is getting more sleep, getting more rest. Sometimes I was getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep per night. Sometimes I was getting an hour of sleep per night because I had to fly or I had to drive and I had to get up and prepare myself for speaking engagements, which is a 4-hour prep process. And I was just pushing, and I was drinking coffee, and I was taking vitamins, and I was all this caffeine and drinking green tea, and I was pushing so hard that my heart started to hurt. I was hurting myself. I was struggling. Man, it affected my thyroid. I was gaining weight. It was impossible for me to lose weight. I was getting brain fog. I wasn't as sharp. And so I realized all of this sleep deprivation was hurting me. And so I decided I'm going to work at getting 6 to 8 or more hours of sleep per night. Some days I'll sleep 9 hours. And when I do that, I feel so much better and sharper and ready and eager for my day. I'm more present with my family. And in the same way, in your life, if you are depriving yourself of sleep, you're going to feel miserable, exhausted, be irritable. You're not going to be as sharp. You're not going to be as friendly or amicable with the people around you. You're not going to look forward to the work that you have. You're tired. Give yourself enough sleep. Another strategy that's related to sleep is relaxation. Sometimes when you're awake, you don't need to be busy. Sometimes you need to just put your phone down, walk through nature. I know you have a whole lot on your plate, and there are a lot of people that you want to help, and there's some students who need your help. Listen, you can't really be your best for them if you're not your best for you. Slow down, get you some sleep, and relax. Now, one of the most effective self-care strategies that I implemented that was a non-negotiable for me was exercise. Exercise made a huge difference in my life in terms of how I felt. Studies show that exercise is even more effective than taking pills. Sometimes it's more effective than other interventions. When you exercise, you get your generator going, you get your body moving, you get your heart rate up, and you start feeling better. Your motions can change your emotions. And so if you get to moving, then you can start to feel better. Jog, do some calisthenics, do some push-ups, walk on a treadmill, do yoga, do something that gets your body moving, that gets your heart rate up, that makes you sweat a little bit. That will empower you to do more of what it is that you enjoy doing, and doing it with excellence. Another self-care strategy that really made a difference in my life is I changed my diet. If you take care of your body takes care of you. I started drinking green smoothies. I put in cucumber and coconut milk and carrots and celery and cilantro. And I put in some berries, some mixed berries. I put in ginger and turmeric, and I squeeze a lemon in there. And that green smoothie energizes me and makes me feel so much better. I've acquired a taste now for my green smoothie. Now I still, every now and then, I'll splurge and I'll eat like a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, or a Popeye's chicken sandwich, or a piece of fried chicken, or something that's really fatty and all of that. Of course, I'll taste those things, and I'll eat those things, and I'll enjoy a piece of cake or whatever, a piece of pie. And almost every time I do that, if I eat too much sugar, I start getting brain fog and I start getting really fatigued. I've also cut out a lot of sugar. I've cut out a lot of dairy, white rice, white bread. I cut out a lot of gluten from my diet, and I feel so much better and stronger. And so I don't know what your diet is, but you want to be intentional about feeding your body life. If you're going to serve at a high level, if you're going to serve in high stress environments, if you're going to serve kids who are traumatized, kids who have a lot of needs, then you need to feel your best. And to do that, you need to eat better. Oh, and one more thing. I drink about 1 gallon of water a day on my good day. Drink a lot of water, eat a lot of greens. One of the most important things I've done for self-care has been prayer, tending to my spirit. I don't believe that we're bodies with spirits. I believe that we're spirits with bodies. And so my spiritual practices involve reading my Bible and praying those words and singing those words and meditating on those words have literally saved my life. All right, let me get myself together. The spiritual disciplines that I've learned as a Christian involve not so much you changing yourself, but it's you putting yourself in the position for God to change you. So prayer is not you changing yourself, it's you putting yourself in a posture for God to change you. Reading your Bible is not you changing yourself, it's you putting yourself in a position for God to change you. And so there's a spiritual side to your life that requires your Creator to refill you and renew your strength. Now, if you don't believe what I believe, there's no love lost. I hope you just skip this step, and maybe if you ever get to that place, come back and reconsider. that maybe this is the thing that's missing from your routine. But for me, I would not be here if it had not been for the practices of prayer and of devotion and connecting with my Creator, who renewed me day by day, renewed my strength, whose strength was made perfect in my weakness, who pulled me out of the darkness into his marvelous light. All right, I'm preaching now, but I'm just here to tell you that prayer changes things and saves lives. All right, let me get myself together. Another self-care strategy that has really made a difference in my life is reflective journaling. So not only praying, not only reading my Bible, not only meditating, not only singing and worshiping and listening to music that nourishes my soul and nurtures my spirit, but I also have a journal. I am a freedom writer still, and I still write in my journals. I have all these journals here where I'm able to just get things out. And in my journal, sometimes I'll just share what I'm feeling. I'll write down some of my prayers. I'll write down some of my struggles. So if you don't have a journal, I highly recommend that you get one. It can make a big difference in your life, even give you clarity about what you're thinking or feeling. Writing helps you become much more precise about how you feel and what you're thinking and what you're going through. And it's a good way to archive your journey. It could be something you look back on years from now and see how far you've come, or see how much you've been brought through, or see how much you've overcome, or see how much you've grown. A journal is a way for you to just keep record of your interior life. Another self-care strategy that has really helped me is called mindfulness. Mindfulness is just being honest about how you're feeling without judging yourself, without adding a positive or negative sign to what you're feeling. It's just sitting in silence and just being mindful of how you're feeling in that moment, and just thinking about it and resting in that and just being fully present. Researchers say that mindfulness is a prerequisite of self-care. If you're not even aware of how you're feeling, if you're not even aware of the good or the bad that's going on internally, if you can't name it or feel it, then you're not going to do what's necessary to address it. And so just sitting in silence sometimes and being mindful, fully present mentally with how you're feeling in that moment and describing it objectively without judging it. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge your feelings. Don't try to attach meaning to them. Don't try to interpret them. Just be mindful. How am I feeling right now? Another amazing life-changing strategy that saved my life was spending quality time with people I love and people who love me. So after some really hard speaking tours, where I've spoken many, many days in a row, sometimes several times a day, whenever I came home, my children just surrounded me and they just hugged me. All three of them on my chest. And my daughter, she would just hold me tight. She'd squeeze me tight. I said, baby, why are you sitting with Daddy so much? She said, Daddy, she said, every time you go away to speak, she says, I know a little part of you dies. And so when you come back here, I know our love helps you come back to life. Oh, man. Spending time with my wife and my children, spending time with people really close to me, that is so important. So I pray that you, and let me say this, with those people you can take your mask off and they won't judge you. They love you and they'll laugh with you, and sometimes they'll tease you, make fun of you, but it brings you joy and it brings you happiness. And so find those people. I pray you have people like that in your life. Another self-care strategy that has really helped me is laughter. So I love to laugh. Man, I love to clown around. I love pranks with my kids and my friends. I love being a practical joker. I'm super silly. Like if, I did some stand-up comedy improv with a famous comedian, a dear friend, brother of mine, Rodney Perry. I have a friend, white guy, right? I've been so busy working on all the stuff I'm working on, and he's called me several times, and I haven't called him back. I've just been so busy. I got a lot of people I got to call back. So a couple days ago, he called me. He said, "Hey, man, I'm starting to think you don't like white people. Call me." Oh, that's my guy. I love this guy, man. So I'm like, "Hey, bro, I love you. I miss you, man. I just been busy." He says, "Nah, man, I know. I just want you to know I'm thinking about you and just want to check in with you." This is a guy, we have some great laughs. Find some people that help you laugh. Another strategy that has helped me is thinking about the rewards of the work that I get to do. Think about the great work that you do with kids. Think about the people you help. Think about the difference that you make. Think about the trajectories that you're altering, the lives that you're changing, the hope that you're giving people, the opportunities that you're making available to them, the competencies that you're equipping them with. Think about all of the good things that come from this work and reflect on those things. I have thousands of testimonials from people through the years, just around here. They're just got like, I got stuff I still haven't read, thousands. And sometimes when I'm down, sometimes when I'm feeling tired, sometimes when I'm wondering whether my work matters, I'll carry some of these testimonials with me. Here's some right here. I'll just carry them with me, and just to remind me of how wonderful and fulfilling this work is. There's another one here. I've got testimonials all over the place. Just reflect on the rewards of your work. Another important strategy that has made a big difference in my life is learning how to set realistic goals for myself. So as you might be able to tell, I'm very ambitious. And so I want to get stuff done. I want to do a lot of stuff, and I want to get it done fast. I wanted to get my pilot's license in 3 months. It took me a year. I wanted to finish my PhD in 3 years. It took me 12 years. Set realistic goals for yourself. You have a list of things that you need to do, that you want to do. Write them down and prioritize them with letter A, B, C, or D. A means you need to do it today. B means you need to do it this week. C means you need to finish it this month. D means you need to do it or finish it this year or beyond, right? Or maybe E is beyond. And then put numbers next to those letters. What do I need to do first today, second today, third today? And then just commit to doing the next best thing. The next best thing. You can't do everything, but you can do the next best thing. And when you do the next best thing, you feel a sense of fulfillment, of achievement, of pride, of accomplishment, of progress. That's important for your own well-being. If you keep setting all these goals that are unrealistic, when you don't achieve them, you'll get discouraged and you'll start beating yourself up and you'll start feeling like a failure. But when you set realistic goals for yourself, it can make a big difference in diminishing your sense of stress, your sense of failure, disappointment. It can give you peace. Little successes lead to big successes. Woo! Okay, this one is huge. This one is huge for me. Now, my core value is freedom. I love freedom. I love freedom, freedom, freedom. I want to be free to do what I want, when I want, how I want. I want freedom. And one of the ways I feel freedom is when I travel. Take a break from your work, go on vacation. So I've been to 49 states. We've been to 6 continents. Seeing new places and experiencing new things and learning about new cultures and meeting new people and learning new languages help me to feel alive, help me feel fulfilled, help me feel like all of the hard work has been worth it. And so I want to recommend that you make time to travel. Finally, number 15. One of the most effective self-care strategies that I've learned is to keep self-care on my mind. So self-care is not something that should be compartmentalized. It's not like a Band-Aid that you put on whenever you're wounded, and as soon as the wound heals, then you take it off and you don't use it anymore. Or it's not like sunscreen that you put on when you're going into a certain environment and you only need it when you're in that environment. No, as one scholar said, I can't think of her name, self-care is like a seatbelt. It's something that you take with you whenever you're going out of your house. Self-care is like an oven mitt that you keep on every time you're cooking. This is just something that stays on your mind so that you can avoid getting into a place of the danger zone. You don't want to get into a place where you're burned out and you are no longer effective for yourself. You're no longer in a good space to be helpful to anyone else. So I've learned to not compartmentalize self-care, but to make it a part of my daily life, to sit and make time to think about how I'm feeling and to address those things. Okay, so those are the 15 self-care strategies that saved my life and have changed my life. And I believe that they can help you if you're stressed out, if you're burned out, and if you need help getting out of that dark place. Okay, so I highly recommend you use these things. Which of these strategies, if any, resonate most with you? Put that in the comment section. I'd love to know which of these resonate most with you. Or was there a strategy that I didn't call out that you think is important, has been helpful for you, that you think could help others? Put that in the comment section. I'd definitely love to hear from you. And then third, what do you need to do immediately? Which strategy do you need to do immediately, to apply immediately to begin improving your own self-care? Okay? Put that in the comment section. I'd love to know and interact with you. Finally, if this video helped you in any way, would you do me a favor? Would you hit the like button? Would you hit the notification bell and subscribe to this channel? Because I plan to upload videos once a week. Right now I'm planning to upload every Friday to be an encouragement, to address problems you're dealing with, to answer questions, to try to help alleviate some of your pain, add some value to your life, maybe some humor. But every Friday I plan to upload a video to just be a blessing to you. Remember this, even on your worst day, you can still be a student's best hope. My name is Dr. Manuel Scott, Manny Scott, and I thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.